What up with it?
I-Nspiration from Racine, Wisconsin. Y'all give it up for my brother right there, y'all. Life, it's what you make. Learn to see it, to experience it, to feel it. Because that life you lead, that's that life you see. So grab a hold of it. And don't be afraid to be weak. And don't be too proud to be strong. Just open up your heart. Be a friend, not a fiend. If you wish to start to laugh or cry, just be yourself. Don't hide. The eyes of truth be the eyes of you. So the tongue of lies be the tongue of yours. So you hear no evil, therefore you see no evil. So you speak no evil. Well, does that make it right?
What up, everybody? This is E-DuBB. This LabTalk. I'm sitting here with 262's very own top tier wordsmith, I-Nspiration. Welcome to LabTalk, brother.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you giving me a few minutes of your time, man. I just wanted to get in tune with you, man. I see you've been doing your thing, man, as far as the spoken word and the poetry.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to get right into it. What got you into that? But matter of fact, no, let's start from the top. Tell the people a little bit about you.
All right.
Where you from? How long you been doing your thing?
Well, I'm here, I'm from Racine. I was always back and forth between Racine and Milwaukee. Played the divorce game growing up, get kicked out of school at my dad's house, come to Racine, get kicked out of here, go back over there. I finally ended up actually it started the other way. I got parents divorced at 9, then got kicked out of Greendale, came to Horlick my sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
Graduated in 97.
So you've been around the area pretty much the whole time?
Yeah. I was floated around. I was on Villa for a while. I was at the Emerson Apartments. Was at Greenbrier. I was living in Oak Creek, in Caledonia. I moved around. Played both sides of the tracks, and won't sit there in front, and say, I was born in the hood. No, I was. I was born.
To be in the hood.
I was born with from a middle class blue collar family. Farmers, Marines, truckers. I just started hooking up with people, and I was an angry kid. So of course I found
all the tough guys you running with.
Yeah, okay. Most people know me, as Hustle Man. Here, I was fucking with Swift Mob years ago.
Okay. Shout out Swift Mob, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So so you just mentioned Swift Mob. You was a rapper at first, or you been doing poetry all along?
I was trying my hand at rapping.
Okay.
And I just couldn't get my timing down,
Yeah.
But I always had bars. I was always a writer. I mean, I've been writing since I was like 13.
How did that come about? What got you into that?
Funny story. I was over a girl.
Write love letters, huh?
I came home. I told my dad, I was like, man, Dad, there's this girl. I said, she's beautiful. Just moved in from California. She was a model. And he's like, you don't know what to say to her, huh? I was like, oh no, I know what to say. He was like, oh, it won't come out, huh? And I'm like, I said, nah.
He
was like, write it down.
Yeah.
He was like, write it down, read it to her, or write it down, rehearse it in the mirror, and memorize it and say it to her, or just give it to her. So I did all of it, but I tried to memorize it, but then I sat right behind her, in class, waiting for the teacher to come in. So I had, all my classmates, they were in the classroom, and we're all waiting on the teacher. Everyone's fucking off doing their own thing, and our row was all filled, but I just leaned forward and I started reading it to her,
Yeah.
you know, aloud. And it was corny as hell. It was like Nicole, Nicole, sweet Nicole, you know, some crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
And I still got put in the friend zone, you know. But
it didn't work.
So and it was cool, you know. And I started, believe it or not, I was really shy,
Yeah.
you know. So I started like just writing, you know, for myself. I'd be at house parties, rave parties,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and I'd be that kid that was just sitting there high as hell, just writing. You know, and people would come to me like, "What you writing, man? You a nerd?
Yeah.
You I ain't no fucking nerd." You know, I was like,
so
you know.
what you was just writing it? What got you into performing it?
Well, I always looked at it like I performed from day one.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you think about the classroom, you know, reading it in front of everybody in a public spot, you know, about a girl, nervous as hell, you know.
No, so I'm talking about what got you taking it serious to where
taking it serious.
You ended up being nominated for all this. Tell the people about all your different accolades, man. Like as far as the spoken word, what is it? What was your nomination for?
Rising Star of the Year for the National Spoken Word Awards. Voting starts on June 1st for that.
Okay. How did all that, you know what I'm saying? When you started taking it serious to where you got to this point?
I would say probably about 20 years ago. Maybe even before that, you know, but I mean, like I said, I toyed with rapping a little bit, and then just that pretty much came in, you know, went into being a talent scout more than anything.
Turned into like an A&R type.
Yeah, you know, and I was kind of like just behind the scenes, you know, a hustle man, you know, basically. But I started hitting up open mics, you know.
Just around the area here?
Like, yeah, you know, I think it was, around here there was one, where Taste of Soul is now, when it was Henry and Wanda's.
Yeah. They used to have open mic in there?
Yeah, they had an open mic there, and I think there was another one down by the theater. It was just, you know, my way of, you know, getting the shit off my chest.
Yeah.
You know, but when I was looking for and scouting, you know, rap artists, you know, I'd always, you know, suggest to them, be like, hey man, take your most personal track, you know, and break it down, you know, to to a poem format. Yeah. You know, like Pac, you know, doing with his writings. Yeah. You know, and in that way, you know, you're gaining a whole new audience, and you're gaining a respect from people that normally wouldn't, you know, possibly listen to your stuff because it's too hard.
Because the beat, you know, how you delivering it.
Right. So, you know, you practice a different delivery.
Trick them into it.
Right. You know, it's just like, you know, when bands do unplugged versions, you know, remember the whole unplugged series on MTV?
Where they sit down and do the acoustics. Yeah.
Right. Like Nirvana. That was like, that's
they
what
still do something like that. It's called Tiny Desk.
Yep.
Yeah. That's dope though.
Yeah.
So yeah, you started doing the different showcases, open mics. You've been doing in like talent shows and stuff like that, or you just
not the talent shows. But I think it was at Gerald's. I found a mic over there at Gerald's, and I ran into, you know, someone there, and they introduced me to the P.O.E.T organization.
Oh, okay, what's that about?
So the P.O.E.T organization stands for People of Extraordinary Talent.
Okay.
It's based out of Chicago by King of Poetry, Black Ice.
Yeah.
He started back in 1990 with workshops for.
I saw a video on his YouTube of you performing at a park.
Yeah, that was the Life Festival, I think it was.
Okay.
But they started off back in 1990 doing like workshops for Cook County Detention Center, into the Cook County school systems and stuff like that. So it was based as a community activist organization that uses performing arts, you know, to open up the doors to positive community reinforcement things.
Yeah, you know, and better to make the people better people, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So, you know, we have memberships, you know, it's like a $50 start off, and that gets you your shirt, gets, you know, on the messenger chat.
How do people get a hold of you, to get in touch with you for that?
So they can go ahead and look me up on Facebook under I-Nspiration. They can hit me up. I-Inspiration is inspiration with a dash between the I and the N, so it's I-N-S-P-I-R-A-T-I-O-N. Instagram, I'm under Inspiration 1899, but it's a dot after the N and a number 1899 at the end. So IN.SPIRATION 1899.
All right.
You can check me out on those. You were talking about the YouTube earlier, before we started. That's under I-Inspiration 1978. Please check it out. Let me know if you have a problem finding it on search or anything like that. There was a couple complications, you know. I'm new to a lot of this tech stuff, you know. So I mean, I was doing open mic at Taste of Soul for over a year, and I just stopped that, you know, a couple months ago. I took a hiatus from it, you know, so I can kind of learn the laptops, the programs, you know, make some money,
Do the production side
to upgrade my equipment, you know, and stuff like that. Because my VP moved over to Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
He was my moderator.
Doing all the behind the scenes for you, huh?
Yeah. So, you know, the thing was, what made it different, it was a hybrid open mic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we're the first to do it pretty much in the Midwest, where it started off as a podcast, a call-in podcast through P.O.E.T Radio and TalkShoe.com. But so you call in, you know, we open up the lines to you, and the people on the phone can be heard in the bar.
Oh,
you know, so if you're performing in the bar, those people can hear
call in and say what's going on.
Right. You know, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
And then we would keep people on the line by, you know, having them converse and, you know, critique each other or give advice or give each other flowers. And we had vendors in there sometimes, you know, so we would advertise the vendors, you know, stuff of that nature. But November.
Stop doing that then.
I'm bringing it back. November 20th of last year, we celebrated a year. And like I said, I just stopped it this year, probably a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. Basically, when DJ Phil started up the Wednesday nights.
Oh, okay.
You know, because DJ Phil was my DJ, you know.
For the Grassroots, what's that about?
So the Grassroots is every second and fourth Wednesday.
So that's something else. That's not that.
Right. That's Nick Ramsey. And I guess you can say like Nick Ramsey was a big part, you know, of bringing me out to the scene here in the poetry scene here in Racine. I met Nick Ramsey back in Milwaukee when we were at house parties, rapping in stairways and shit like that, getting white boy wasted and shit. You know? But yeah, definitely. I'll have an announcement, you know, this coming week about the call-in part coming back. Okay. I'm gonna bring the call-in part back, build up the caller list. I'm still working on equipment. All those connections that I made, you know, during that time, you know, I've been utilizing them. Yeah. You know, so like when social media is great for networking and building relations, you know, but when you get to that point where you're, you know, conversing, you know, in the inbox, and you're finally reaching out on the phone, and you know, I'm just like, okay, I got a good feeling about this person or whatever, you know, that's cool. But once you get to that point where, you know, you feel comfortable enough, you know, you got to make the next step up, and that's to go meet in person, shake hands, look in the eye, see if this person's walking or talking.
Don't really do that. They just think they're supposed to just promote on social media, and they don't have to do nothing else.
And that's why you got a lot of garbage. Yeah. You know, you go meet them in person. We made a what I call a rubber band trip out to Detroit last month. Because we have a chapter out there in Detroit. Okay. You know, we also have a chapter in Benton Harbor and Kalamazoo. And but I went out, I was communicating, I helped resurrect that chapter. Because I hadn't been out to Detroit like in 20 years. You know, so like I really wanted to get back. I almost moved out there. Oh, yeah. You know, so I mean, I was hustling in the rave scene, you know, in Detroit as well as Chicago.
You're doing like what, promotions and stuff like that?
Yeah. Just give me some flyers. I live in Racine. You know, we're like a little town on the lake that's 2 to 3 hours from all the major cities.
Yeah,
You know, I travel around.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll throw these flyers around. You know, target promote. Just give me VIPs. You know, and keep me in the loop.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
I mean, I used to go all the way out to Toronto. I got Promoter of the Year through Tribe Magazine out there in the probably late '90s.
Yeah, just doing hip hop or spoken word stuff.
No, that was just promotion shit on the rave side.
For rave music still.
Yeah, but during that time I always wrote. You know, but like I said, about 15, 20 years ago, I really started going hard. You know, on the open mic scene, really taking it more serious. And now, I was made president, of the Wisconsin chapter.
Yeah.
A little over a year ago.
What that entail? What you got to do as far as that?
So I have nine members, and part of the Wisconsin chapter.
How does a poet get in touch with you if they want to join?
So again, they just hit me up.
You don't have like a site or nothing just for the P.O.E.T or something like that?
Well, you can go to I-Nspiration.org.
Okay.
That's the website for the organization as a whole, and I'll give you
lead you to the Wisconsin chapter or whatnot.
Yeah, okay. But you can also call me 414-236-9233.
Okay.
And I can also go over with you. We set up an interview with Black Ice, on the phone, basically, explaining everything and seeing where you want to take this poetry. What are your goals? So like when I originally got in over probably 12 years ago.
Oh, okay.
No, probably longer than that, because it was right around time it was after my daughter was born. So probably about, my daughter's 15 now, so it's probably about 12, 13 years ago.
Okay.
But I took a long hiatus, because I became a homeowner, I became a father, became a husband. I had to provide. I was working
back.
Yeah, I was
work for real. Huh?
Yeah, I was working 20-hour days. I was still DJing over at I was doing Second Time Around.
Oh, you be doing DJing too?
Okay. I haven't done that in a minute, but once a DJ, always a DJ.
Yeah.
I tried to get into the laptop stuff, but I just can't. I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah,
man,
I just did an interview the other day. A dude that does vinyl still.
Yeah, I mean, and all that's coming back.
Yeah.
I do CDs, but everything circles back. So like people that are a little older than me, they're bringing the vinyl stuff back. I'm 47.
Yeah.
Like I said, I liked flipping through the books.
Yeah.
Just like an OG would like to flip through the crates.
Playlist together.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like on the laptop, it's all like
it's still a playlist though.
Yeah, and I understand. I understand the benefits of it. Everything's smaller, it's more compact.
Hey, man,
you're not busting your back,
man.
You can set up
anywhere.
anywhere.
Good to know both though, and you can, you never stop learning, man. I just be messing with everything. You saw me in here still. I ain't recorded in years, but it's still the same. I could jump right on this garage band and make a track. But yeah, man, I appreciate you though, man. So what's the goal with as far as the poetry and the spoken word? What you gonna do?
I want to go full time with it.
Do a spoken word album or?
I can. I'm gonna write some books. I'm gonna do at least 2 books.
Okay.
One being like a poetry book. Another one being like an autobiography or memoir, so to speak. And that's not because I'm trying to become some bestseller or anything like that. If that happens, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking ahead, like to my daughter, to my friends, to people that I've come across. If I pass away or I end up with dementia or in a coma or something, I have all my life experiences written down.
Memoirs.
Yeah, and my daughter can say, hey, this is my dad, or if I end up in a coma, she can read this to me, and say, hey, Dad, I know you're in there.
You did this.
I know you're in there. You remember this?
Man.
Because people say that can bring you back out of a coma.
Books, reading about your history.
That's what's up, man. But I'm gonna this winter. I'm aiming to be full time, traveling, curating on the road, hosting, getting paid. That way. I'm gonna start in the winter months.
Yeah.
Pretty much with down south. I got got connections all over the place, but I got family in Virginia, from Virginia down to Houston, Texas, and Fort Worth, San Antonio, and in between, you know, that I can travel between. You know what I mean?
Sound like being better than being here, man. You know, don't be freezing your bones.
You know, and then in July of 2026, I'll be out at the New York Poetry Festival, and then head up to New York and Poets Cafe in Lowsider, New York. We got invited out there. I hit that Zoom open mic every Thursday, damn near. They call me the captain of the street team.
Oh, okay.
You know,
what's up, man? So how, as far as like doing all the, you said a Zoom open mic?
Yeah.
How do people check that out?
So that's you go to like newyorkin.org. That's easier to kind of, you know, show you how to do that or send a video, because you got to go to like the newyorkin.org website. Yeah. You go into their calendar, you pick the date, and then it's like buying a ticket, but you're not paying for a ticket. Just go in there and check it out. And then how
often you guys have those?
Those are every Thursday. You can sign up 24 hours ahead on Wednesday night. And that'll get you in what they call the guaranteed round. So you got like 20 slots, you know, and then if you don't make it into the guaranteed round, there's still what they call the good luck round. And they get like 5 people in there. It goes from 7 to 10 Central Time. But I mean, it's, you know, you got a lot of different type of styles on there. You got folk singers on there. You got hip hop styles on there. You got the spoken word, you know, styles.
That's crazy, man. Y'all go check that out, man. If y'all want to tune in with that.
Yeah.
So what you got around here going on coming up here, short term, that the people can come check you out, or how can they go and vote for you as far as the Spoken Word Awards and all that?
So the Spoken Word Awards, like I said, that starts June 1st. You go to the official National Spoken Word Awards website. Go to the categories. I'm category number 16, Rising Star of the Year, and you just vote for me, and you can vote once from each device that you have.
Oh, wow.
So
y'all get them laptops out, man, them phones, and go run it up for them, man.
It means a lot to me. You know, I mean, I don't do it for the accolades. I don't do it for the awards, but
they don't hurt.
No, you know, and it's nice to be appreciated. You know what I mean?
Man.
Like
we a reason to keep going.
We got nominated last year, Taste of Soul, and Wordsmith Wednesdays. Well, the show Wordsmith Wednesdays got nominated. They also have a separate award for Venue of the Year.
Okay.
You know, that didn't make it, you know, but we got nominated in 4 months of being up, and we were still going through technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But the people spoke for us, you know.
Hey, man.
But then I went
to bring it back.
I went to the red carpet, to the award show, and we got nominated, but they didn't say our name. You have to be in the top 4 in order to get announced. I said, you know, I told all our members, I said, next year, you know, if this is still going on, I want to get at least recognized. I want us to at least get. I'm not expecting to win. You know, I just want us to be known. You know.
Hey, man,
but we're gonna bring like I said, we're gonna bring the call-in part back. So check out the social medias. I say you can call me 414-236-9233. I'm doing some work with the Black Panther Cubs with Chairman Fred Hampton, with Justin Blake, Jacob Blake's uncle. I don't know if you're all familiar with Jacob Blake's story. He got shot 7 times by police officers in Milwaukee about 5 years ago.
Kenosha.
In Kenosha. Yeah, Kenosha, my bad. And they're going to have a block party coming soon. Breonna Taylor's aunt's going to be there. The chairman is going to be there. Of course, some of the Cubs are going to be there.
Where is that? Where they going to have that at?
Again, I'll have some of that info for you, you know, later as it gets closer. It's going to be in Kenosha, though.
Yeah.
And I told Chairman, you know, I said that, hey, the Wisconsin Poet Chapter's got your back. You know, I said, whenever you've got soldiers on the ground anywhere in the country, even out of the country, because we have a chapter in Ghana, Nigeria, Jamaica, and the UK.
Okay.
You know, so we have members all around the country, into Canada, chapter out in Vegas. You know, but I told them, I was like, you know, if you're down in North Carolina, you know, for a march or for an event or anything, you know, let me know. I got people down in North Carolina. I'll send them out there, you know, to help out, you know, because that's the thing with the spoken word community. A lot of us have the same views. You know, a lot of us go through the same thing from city to city, you know, and it's like, hey, do you have a organization like this out here, a nonprofit or a grassroots organization out here, that handles with this, maybe it's set up through Unify or through the city, you know, how can we link up to make a tour, you know, and you know, make a Midwest coalition and whatnot.
Yeah, man.
So,
that's dope, man. All you got to do is put it together, man. And once you do, just tap in with me, man, and we'll get you back in front of the camera and run it down again, and you know, just keep everybody up to speed with what you're doing.
Yeah, they can check out the videos on the I-Nspiration Facebook page. That's I use that as my performance page right now.
Okay.
Working on, you know, thinking about putting a website together. It all depends on the costs and stuff like that. I also have my lawn care business, so CLL services.
Oh, okay.
We do lawn care, basic landscaping, mulching, bed edging, stuff like that. Some haul away.
I have to give you a call, man. All my grass dead, man. They got some bugs got me. Somebody.
Yeah, we do fertilizing and whatnot. But yeah, man, we just you know, hip hop, rap, spoken word. It's all poetry, you know.
Sure.
So I mean, it's you know, you just break it down, you know, into different formats, different deliveries, you know, but it's all linked together. Racine's very slept on, you know, but we have to.
That's what we working on, man.
Yeah, we have to wake each other up and promote each other. You know, if you don't like something, my dad always said, if you don't like something, change it or shut the fuck up and deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, that's church to me. You know, I mean, you just gotta, you know, keep it real in that sense. You know, but like, you don't like where the state of hip hop is at. You know, you don't like the state of where the city's at. Then change it. Find a way to change it.
You got to do something.
If you don't have the connects, somebody else has the connects. You know, support the person that has the plug. You know, and put them to work. You know,
one of us get on, then we all on. We got to get
reach one, teach one.
We got to get in the door.
Reach one, teach one.
Man, for sure, man. I appreciate you, man. I-Nspiration, y'all. LabTalk. Get in touch with him.
LabTalk, it's the vibe.